financially what to do. What's going on? So,
What?
what you got going on there?
Oh, this is my new outfit by Hardwired Exotics. This is the new collection.
Well, that ain't exactly what I was talking about, but okay.
What you talking about?
That.
Oh, my microphone.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was about to get in a freestyle competition with somebody, but I put my lapel microphone in my lapel, but my beard covers it, so I'm just doing it this way.
Okay.
What? It don't look right?
No, I was just asking.
What should I do? Should I stick it right here?
Well, you're wearing a hoodie, so
That's how we do it. What y'all think about my hoodie? It's got a pocket where you put all your snakes. It's got a hood. It's lightweight. It's got strings. Would you like one?
If you would, I can tell you where to go.
That's right, www.hardwiredexotics.com.
All your swag.
Pick up one.
Alright, so I've been asked a good bit, two things. I've been asked about doing a video on the business side of what happens and how to control or budget or financially what to do for a business. So I'm going to give you my opinion. All this is my opinion, of course, but I'm going to give you my opinion on some of that. And I also get asked about what should I invest in. People want to invest in something, and they ask me what genes do I need to buy, what snakes do I need to buy.
Oh, that's a good topic.
And I'm going to get dive into that a little bit and tell you my opinion on that too. So
I like it.
All right. So first off, let's talk about the financial side of what to do for this business. 100% my opinion. And it changes throughout when you start to 3 years, from 3 years to 5 years.
That's
5
right.
years. It's constantly going to change as far as how you need to budget, and and it also completely depends on what finances you have that comes into play as well, because this is our main business. It's not our only business. We actually have 4 separate businesses that me and Cassie have and run and maintain, but this is the main business. Like, this Hardwired Exotics takes priority over all of it.
Whereas mine is a side.
Right, and then Craig has a side hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It does generate money, but we're at 2 different levels.
That's right. That's a good topic.
And y'all are going to be, even the person that comments right below you or above you is going to be on a different level than what you're at, and neither one of y'all are going to be on the same level as me or Craig.
That's right.
So there's a wide range of things that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is just give you what I feel like is good advice. So that's all I'm doing here. I'm going to explain a little bit about what I've done and what I think is a good thing to do for somebody, and we're going to start that at the beginning.
At the beginning.
So say you're picking up your first couple of snakes.
All right.
So in the beginning, what you need to do is ultimately decide what snakes you like, because that's where it all starts at. You have to love these animals and be ready for a long commitment on having them. And I mean, you need to invest in the animals that you like. Whatever project that wants to be, you need to decide. And then you go out and find the best person to purchase those from. I mean, you have to buy snakes from people. That's
Yes.
part of this business is you have to spend money or trade. If you have things for trade like gold, silver, bang bangs, knives,
Motorcycles.
motorcycles. I've traded for all kinds of stuff over the years. But again, it takes some sort of monetary value.
That's right.
To get a animal. Or you pick one up at a rescue or things like that. Those are options as well. So once you've acquired an animal or two, then you got to figure out am I going to just keep these animals because they're cool pets, or do I want to breed them?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of going to be your next step. And for this episode, we're going to talk about the breeding aspect of it, because guess what I do for a living?
That's right.
I breed snakes, so I can give you the best advice. If you're just going to keep it as
I
a
ain't
pet,
got no pet snakes.
yeah. If you're going to do the pet thing, then this ain't the channel that I gear people towards.
Right.
So let's talk about the breeding aspect of that. Once you've acquired a handful of snakes and you decide that you're going to breed, you're going to raise these snakes. Now, I do not agree with people that buy 100 or 200 snakes right off the rip before they try to breed anything.
Right.
I don't think that's a good investment. And the main reason for that is you have no experience on handling that many animals at one time. If you go from 0 snakes to 100 snakes or 200 snakes within a year or two, there's all kinds of obstacles and issues, and you're going to feed these things. What happens if you get something going through your collection that's not good? There's a million different things that can go wrong.
The main thing that would happen would be for you to obtain about 100 snakes off the rip. You're going to end up buying someone's collection out.
Yep.
And you're not going to know how that person took care of the animals, or why they're getting rid of their animals, or if they paired their animals already. So that's one way I see out of it. You know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with buying a
No,
collection.
nothing wrong. I'll buy a collection in a heartbeat.
And I've bought many over the years as well.
But not starting off.
No. So I really think the best thing to do, is just slowly introduce yourself into getting snakes. So I don't really recommend buying a collection, or I don't really recommend going heavily on the snakes until you've hatched a couple of clutches.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that experience. I can't stress how much experience really matters in this industry. And it's and I'll kind of go off on a little tangent here. One of the things that pisses me off about social media is you have people that have been doing this for a year or two and they think they know everything.
Right.
And in reality, they don't really know anything.
That's right.
But people like myself and many others out there don't want to help people on social media anymore, because you have these other people that think they know better,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have the experience.
Right.
And it's not worth fighting, or the drama, talking back and forth, and it's just a whole mess. So a lot of people like myself just don't even give my opinion on social media anymore, because we're scared of what the next people are going to say, and it's just not worth it for us.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
A lot of us stay off social media for that reason.
Right.
And it's unfortunate. But all right, let's get back to the whole buying the collection thing. Again, experience is just super key in all of this, and you don't get that. Like if you just buy a bunch of snakes and start breeding them and things like that, you just don't get any of that experience that you need, and you can fail really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And the majority of the people that fail doing this, and that's the reason why they got in too quickly. Where do you need to put yourself? Is it okay to buy breeding females or close to breeding females and pair them up? Absolutely. I think it's a great idea to introduce yourself. Even in the first year, I think it's a great idea to introduce yourself into a breeding size female It may be a breeding size male.
Mm-hmm.
Pair them up, even if it's a normal to a normal, because guess what? That normal to normal is going to give you a clutch. You're going to work out, or you could potentially work out any issues.
That's right.
That your incubator has.
That's right.
You could work out any issues that, you know, your egg box, the way you have your egg box set
Work
up.
out any issues with the hot spots in your thing, like you use heat tape and I use ambient heat.
Yep.
You know, you could work out anything like that.
Um,
We were just having that conversation.
Yep. Females need to have a certain temperature in their tub when they're gravid. You may get a group of slugs right off the rip. Well, guess what? That means your temperature is too high on your hot spots or in your room. You know, I've had that happen before here in this facility.
That's right.
Had to work those kinks out. But at least if you have a some trial run clutches, then at least you can work out those kinks.
You'd rather work it out on 2 or 3 snakes as opposed to 200 snakes.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm going at. Is it gives you time to work out that stuff before you jump into it really big. So I do recommend that you pick up a breeder female or two and try your hand at it. So anyway. So then let's get back to the investment side of that. So once you've been in this for let's say 2 years. Let's say 2 years you've been in this. You've bred a couple of snakes. You got some eggs in the incubator. You're hatching a couple of snakes in that 2 to 3 year realm there. And oh man, you've done everything right, and you got some eggs, and you hatch these snakes, and they're eating for you, and you're ready to put them on the market, and you sell them. That's great. That's exactly in the position that you want to be in. What do you do with that money?
Well, what most people are going to do with that money is they're going to spend it.
Yep.
What I do with the money is I use it to pay for more bedding, more rat food, more rats, or sometimes I use it to invest in other snakes of higher quality.
Yep.
So it all depends on how much money you make off of it and what you want to do.
Agreed.
So that's how I look at it.
Yep.
But I want to cover at least my cost for my stuff that I'm feeding my collection already.
Sure.
Yeah. So
once you start bringing in some money, that's a really the big point in your why in the road, let's say, because this is where you're either going to make it or break it. On this decision, once you start making a little bit of money in this industry, this is where the why, you hit the why, and you have a huge decision to make as to which direction you want to go. Do you want to do this and really, really advance your projects and try to make a bunch of money? Or do you want to just make cool snakes and sell them and
have a cool collection?
Cool collection. You know, that's the point that you really have to start thinking about what direction you want to go.
That's right.
Because that's a major why. So, you know, for Craig, he makes a couple of cool snakes, and he's okay with that. That's where he wants to be at in this. You know, so he went off to the right side of this why.
That's right.
And, you know, he makes a little bit of money, and he just turns around and takes that money and buys snakes and buys rats and bedding and things like that. He probably doesn't actually profit much money off this business every year.
But my collection gets bigger.
But the collection
gets stronger.
Yep.
So my profitability is going to take longer.
Yep.
But I'm having more enjoyment.
Yep.
From the way I see it.
Yep.
Yes.
So, and then there's going to be a lot of people like myself that are going to hang a left right there and
That's
go,
right.
You know what? I'm investing every single bit of this right back in this hobby, and I'm going at it full force. So, you know, that's a big why there, and that's a decision that you personally have to make. But either one of those directions, if you want to stay afloat and stay, I hate to use this term, but if you want to stay with the crowd or the scene, or stay on top of what's new, or however you want to put it, that point you have to reinvest 100%
Absolutely.
of what you make.
Absolutely.
And that's just what I believe. Those first 3, 4, 5 years, every dollar that you bring in, 100% of that needs to go back into the business or your hobby.
That's right.
And now, whether that's buying snakes, buying rats, buying racks, buying bedding, buying whatever it takes, to keep yourself afloat, you need to invest all of that back into the business.
Because this is a very expensive, just in my case, this is a very expensive hobby. I don't even have half the stuff that's in here, and it's expensive.
Oh,
Just a single rack. Y'all have seen it. One of these racks costs $3,000.
Yep.
But think about it. That's $3,000, and you got probably $80,000 worth of snakes and something.
Yep.
If you really look at it, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, at one point, I don't know what I haven't totaled it up, but at one point, this whole back rack right here, I had $250,000
worth of snakes.
Worth of snakes in that.
Yeah.
A year or two ago.
It's shocking, but to spend that little bit of money on it, or you could make one if you wanted to. It all depends. It's all your style, what you want to do with your money. It's just, I agree with the fact that you have the two different styles. You have the business aspect of it, and you got the hobbyist or the enthusiast aspect of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, all that being said, at what point do again, totally 100% my opinion here. And sorry, this is a long, boring video. I know it's probably not what most of y'all want to see.
People ask the questions, so
people ask questions, so I got to make these type videos. That's just all there is to it. And there's not like any showing. I'm not a very draft and paper person to make you understand.
We should hold a snake while we're doing all this.
And then nobody pays attention because they want to look at snake. But anyway. Well, at what point do you need to, or what point can you start taking money out of the business or hobby to do something else with it? And that's a question that I get asked probably the most after the fact of what I should invest in or what you do financially. When can I start taking money out of the business? And that's going to be a very open-ended question because it depends on where you want to be at. And where you are,
right?
If let's say you started and you've been in it for 5 years and you're going, you know what, I got a little bit of money set up. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of snakes, or that I want to buy, or I'm not in a position where I have to buy rats because I'm breeding my own, or making enough money to buy the rats, or I got a whole pallet of cocoa bedding and I got my racks already paid for and done, and I don't really need to expand. So I'm just sitting on some money now. What do I do with that? That's a decision that you're going to have to make. But I definitely would say, at least for the first minimum of 4 years, you need to put 100% of the money back into your business of some sort.
That's right.
Get you a stockpile. Again, like I just said, have a whole pallet of cocoa sitting out back. Whatever it is, build that business up. It doesn't have to be just with the snakes. The racks, like Craig just mentioned, are super expensive. You don't have to use this style racks. I just prefer this style of racks. I built this. This is hand.
Right.
This is hand built. It's not like it's something you can go out and buy.
It feels good when you. I was able to do it last year. I was able to make enough money to get a rack, and it felt good to be able to buy the rack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, the rack's gonna make life easier for you.
Oh, absolutely.
And that easy means less time, times money. So, it's a whole different thing. But once you get to the point where you have some money and you really don't think you need to invest anything, not just snakes, anything in the business or hobby, then take that money out. Take your family on a vacation.
Yeah.
Your wife and
maybe
kids
take them to Tinley to go see Tony and Cassie. Maybe. I'm just saying.
But take some of that money out and go do something with your family. You've been spending a lot of time and effort in building this business. Enjoy it and spend it on something for you and your family. You've taken away a lot of time from your family to be able to do this.
That's very true.
So go do something with them. Or the first thing I ever done is at our other house. I put a metal roof on it. We needed a roof.
I remember that. Yeah. So you used
I took $7,000 out of what I had put up, and we put a roof on the metal building. I mean, on the metal roof on the house.
See, there you go. It helps benefit the rest of your livelihood.
Yeah. So the metal roof just made things easier, and we had to worry about our roof falling in.
I mean, or you can just be like me and use it to go to Waffle House every day. I'm just saying,
if that's what
what you want to do with your money, that's
Greg doesn't necessarily. I mean, he has a family, but he doesn't have a wife and kids. So
no, I got a bearded dragon. That's all I got. Got to make sure he's okay.
Wants to go spend money on Waffle House, then that's what he can do.
I love waffles.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's kind of where I feel like you should be at, and even to the point of, let's say you're into this 8 or 9, 10 years like myself. Obviously, we do this for a living, and obviously it brings in a lot of money. Now, what people don't understand is how much money I have to spend out. There's a pile of money, to run all these facilities, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year that I have to spend on all this. So it does require a good chunk of money to come in.
Yeah.
But even now, I still invest more than half
back into snakes,
back
and back into projects,
projects and things like that.
To always be on that cutting edge.
Yeah. Any money. Let's say I sell a snake for $2,000. I take 1,000 of that and kind of set it to the side. Say, look, when a project comes available, I'm going to buy in, and you just build up, until you get to where you need to be at and buy a whole project.
That's right.
Or a snake or whatever you need. So I do believe that you never need to stop investing. And I think that's where a lot of people fail at too. Is like, oh, I don't need to buy nothing else. That's never.
No, that's never an answer.
There is not a single successful reptile breeder in the world that does not continue to advance projects in some way, shape, or form. So anyway, I think that about covers it. So basically what I'm saying is, if you want to do breeding on a hobby like Craig is, just keep investing back into yourself. Just keep spending the money back into the business until you get to the point where, I can afford to go do something. Or you like myself and want to be a breeder and actually try to make a living or at least a decent second job type thing. And at least the first 4 years, keep investing your money back into the business. And I would say it goes as far as you possibly can, dumping 100% of your money back into this business to get to where you want to be at. Once you feel like you're at the point where you can take money away from the business, then by all means, please do it and spend some time doing something you enjoy besides this, because you've earned it.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. When you work hard, you have to treat yourself. There's no point in working hard and not taking care of yourself.
100% agree. So, but don't ever forget that you will always need to stick money back to the side to invest into more animals to keep projects going, keep this alive. And that's one of the reasons why the reptile industry is so strong and so big, is because it's constantly reinvesting into ourselves. So, which brings up the second question. That was a long first question.
We get to pause it now because the incubator's on.